Hello everyone, how are you all? Hope you people are doing good. We are with the chapter Life Processes. Under that, two processes we have finished our discussion. First one was about nutrition, and the second one was about respiration. And now we are with one more important process, that is transportation. Okay, so first let us talk about the word transportation. What is all transportation is about? It is all about transport. Transport in the sense what? Transfer, isn't it? Transfer of oxygen, right? Or I can say transfer of certain gases, food, hormones, etc. Okay, etc. to various parts of the body, to various parts of the body, right? So this is what about the transportation. Say we studied in nutrition, the villi of small intestine will absorb food and later that food is shifted to blood pipes, isn't it? So I told blood will carry that particular digested food to all parts of the body, I said. So how is that blood is actually carrying the food to all the parts? Say this is what we call transportation. So here food is getting transferred to various parts of the body. It has been digested in the small intestine, and from small intestine it is moving to various parts of the body, right? So, and in the respiration we also studied about exchange of gases, isn't it? We take oxygen, it enters through nostrils, later to trachea, later to bronchioles, and lungs, and from lungs, the alveoli of lungs is associated with the blood capillaries. So through the blood it will be passed to various parts of the body, I told. And in the same way, carbon dioxide from all the cells, from all the parts, it is coming to the lungs, and then lungs from the lungs to the outside, isn't it? So how is this blood is carrying that oxygen gas, and how is that carbon dioxide is coming out? So various hormones are just like the chemical messengers. Okay, say for example, if something is very much hot, and when we touch it, we feel that, we sense that our hand is getting hot, and we automatically leave our hand, isn't it? So some instructions are given by the brain actually. Okay, so who is sending these instructions to various body parts is again a chemical messengers. We call them as hormones. Okay, so hormones also will be moving from one part to another part inside a body. So all these guys are moving from one organ to another organ. This movement, this transfer is what we will discuss under the transportation. Okay, so transportation is mainly about the transport or transfer of gases, food, hormones, etc. to various parts of the body. Okay, so and we have to discuss transportation in humans as well as transportation in plants. Okay, so we study those two aspects here. First and foremost, let us start with transportation in humans. Okay, so I am going to talk about transportation in humans, or I can say vertebrates. Humans belong to the category called vertebrates, isn't it? So let us discuss this. And this transportation in our body occurs through a system called circulatory system. Okay, got to know? So transport takes place through circulatory system. So just like a respiratory system, in case of respiration, taking oxygen, giving out carbon dioxide involved so many organs, isn't it? And the same way nutrition also, the digestion process involved so many organs, we called it as digestive system. And in case of respiration, we called it as respiratory system. That means a collection of so many organs where the passage of gases takes place, isn't it? So in a similar way, transfer of these guys, that is gases, food, hormones, etc., takes place through a system called circulatory system. Okay, and this circulatory system includes various parts or various things in our body. That is, the first one is blood. Okay, so in your previous classes we have studied about blood, isn't it? It is called as, connective tissue, right? It is a transport tissue. So mainly it contains blood. Second important thing is you have to know about the blood vessels, isn't it? And the third one is the very important organ in a human system, that is heart. Okay, heart in other words can be called as blood pump, right? Blood pump. So heart is the one which will pump the blood actually. Blood will carry all the gases, food, hormones and etc. in a particular pattern. It will not carry however it wants. There is a certain path for the flow of blood actually. So circulatory system includes blood, blood vessels, heart, and finally there is another tissue called, liquid tissue called lymph. Okay, so these are the different parts or different things we have to study under circulatory system. And usually, actually there are two types of circulatory system. One is open circulatory system, and the second one is closed circulatory system. So here, what do you mean by open circulatory system? This particular circulatory system is seen in molluscans, okay, mollusca or arthropods. These are the types of organisms where you studied about this classification of organisms in your previous classes. So in these types of organisms you will find this open circulatory system, and closed circulatory system is found in vertebrates, that is in animals like humans, birds contain closed circulatory system. Fine. So what do you mean by open circulatory system? It's very simple. Open circulatory system contains hemolymph. Hemolymph is nothing but the combination of blood and lymph. Both are liquid tissues only. Blood is actually a red color liquid and lymph is a colorless liquid tissue. So in these organisms, both blood and lymph would be mixed up. So this mixture of blood and lymph, we call it as hemolymph. And this hemolymph will carry the various gases, hormones of food, whatever. Got to know? And blood directly pumps hemolymph into the body cavities. Okay, blood is directly giving that hemolymph. Hemolymph is what? Carrying that oxygen, carbon dioxide, gases and all. So directly that blood will be pumped by the heart into the body cavities. Okay, so imagine blood is here. So there are some body organs, say leg is there, stomach is there, everything is there. So blood will directly pump that hemolymph to the body cavities. Okay, that is about the open circulatory system. And coming to the closed circulatory system, okay, blood is separately present, lymph is separately present. Okay, so here the important point you have to remember is blood is separated from lymph. Blood will transport certain things, lymph also will transport certain things. Okay, so their duties they have on their own. Okay, fine. And what happens here is heart will pump the blood into specialized pipes called blood pipes. In the other word, we call them as blood vessels. Okay, so heart directly will not pump the blood into the every organ directly. You know, there are certain pipes, blood pipes we call in the normal language. In a scientific language, we call them as blood vessels. Okay, so what do you mean by blood vessels? It is nothing but blood pipes. You know, so heart pumps the blood into blood vessels. Okay, so blood vessels in the sense blood pipes, isn't it? So through the pipes, the blood is actually going to various parts of the body. You know, this is how the blood flow takes place in closed circulatory system. Okay, closed, the name itself says blood will flow in a closed pipes. You know, there are certain pipes which we call it as blood vessels. So those pipes will carry the blood to various parts of the body. But in case of open circulatory system, there is no such pipes inside our body. Directly, the heart will pump the blood straight away into the body cavities. Okay, straight away into various parts directly. Got to know? So this is a major difference between open circulatory system and closed circulatory system. Okay? And in humans, we see the closed circulatory system. Okay, so our closed circulatory system consists of blood vessels, heart and lymph. Okay, so about each and everything, let us discuss in detail. First and foremost, let us try to know more details about the blood. Clear? See here, blood is nothing but a fluid tissue. Okay, and this particular blood is again divided into two parts. First one is plasma. Okay, we call it as blood plasma, isn't it? And the next part of a blood, actually blood includes the two things. First one is blood plasma, the other one is blood cells. Okay, so let us first discuss about the blood plasma. You know, the blood plasma is nothing but liquid part of a blood. Liquid part it is. Actually, when you imagine if you are taking 5 ml or 10 ml of a blood in a syringe, if you keep the blood as it is for some time without disturbing it, after some time what you observe is a clear liquid part is, you know, collected at the top and the red color thing will get present at the bottom, right? So you will observe two layers actually in a blood when you don't disturb the blood for a longer time, when you keep it as it is, right? So upper part is a clear colorless liquid, actually light yellow color or colorless liquid, and the bottom portion is a dark red color part. Got to know? So that clear colorless liquid part of blood is what we will call it as blood plasma. Okay, so that's the reason I said it's a liquid part of a blood. And this blood plasma contains, you know, it mainly contains water. Okay, and some protein. Water and some protein. That protein can be called as albumin. It will contain a protein called albumin. Okay, so what is the duty of blood plasma? The blood plasma can carry, you know, carbon dioxide gas, food and nitrogenous waste. Okay, so this is what a plasma part of a blood can carry, right? It will collect, I told you in the respiration, see, carbon dioxide can be collected from various organs and then that will be carried by blood to the lungs, I said, right? So mainly the plasma component of a blood is carrying that carbon dioxide. Okay, what was given by various parts of the body after respiration reaction. Yeah, and it can also carry a certain amount of nutrients, that is food, and also nitrogenous waste. Say whatever waste material is there, that also will be carried by blood only. So in blood, which part is carrying the waste material? It's actually plasma part. Okay, so this is all about blood plasma. And now coming to blood cells, you know, there are 3 types of blood cells actually. 3 types. The first one is red blood cells. Red blood cells. In short, we will call them as RBCs. Second variety is white blood cells. White blood cells. In short, we will call it as WBCs. And the third and important one is platelets. Platelets. Okay, let us study what is the duty of red blood cells, white and platelets. Coming to red blood cells, in short, we will call them as RBCs. You know, this particular cells contain a special chemical or pigment called hemoglobin. Okay, so our red blood cells contain special pigment, or it's a kind of chemical. Pigment here is nothing but a chemical, just like chlorophyll in the green plants. What is chlorophyll? Chlorophyll is a pigment. Pigment is nothing but a organic molecule, a chemical molecule, okay, which has a certain color. So here this pigment is actually has a red color, right? So contains special pigment called hemoglobin. Hemoglobin. Okay, and this particular hemoglobin is red in color. It's a red color pigment. That's the reason RBC cells are red in color. Since these guys are red in color, the blood is having that red color. Okay, all together. Fine. And what is the duty of RBCs is, since it has this special pigment called hemoglobin, this particular guy has more attraction with oxygen. Okay, the moment it sees oxygen, it has a great love for oxygen. It combines with oxygen, and wherever this guy is going, there it will take oxygen and goes. Got to know? So what I can say for you is, hemoglobin has great affinity. Affinity in the sense attraction. Great affinity for oxygen gas. Okay, so RBCs are the guys which are actually carrying oxygen to the various parts of the body. So what is one more point I can write here? So RBCs carry oxygen gas to various parts of body. Okay, so these are the 2 points you have to remember about red blood cells. First one, red blood cells contain a special red color pigment called hemoglobin, and this hemoglobin has great affinity for oxygen gas. That's the reason these guys can carry oxygen to various parts of the body. Fine. So that's all about our duty of RBCs in the blood. Coming to white blood cells. Okay, so white blood cells are, since the name only has it's white, they don't have any color. And these cells are very important to fight against infections. Okay, so these cells fight against infections. Okay, so they are actually a very important components of immune system. You know, they build our immune system. In other words, what I can say here, these guys will build our immune system. They are the main cells responsible to fight against infections. Okay, so that is the duty of white blood cells. You know, they won't carry any gases. They just fight against infections. And coming to the platelets, okay, so platelets help in blood clotting process. They help in blood clotting process. Blood clotting process. Okay, very important. If platelets are not there, blood clotting doesn't take place. Where blood clotting is a very important process that has to happen, right? Whenever the veins or something is broken, when you are suffering with some wound or something, gradually the blood starts flowing, but at certain point of time the flow has to get stopped. So who is the reason behind the stopping of blood? Platelets, which are there in the blood itself. Okay, so these platelets, what they do is, whenever the hand is cut or some wound has happened, it stops the flow of blood by clotting the blood. That is what the duty of platelets. So this is all about the components of the blood. Two components are there in blood. One is blood plasma, that is a liquid part. Main constituent of blood plasma is actually the water. Okay, that's why it is liquid. And this blood plasma can carry carbon dioxide gas, food and nitrogenous waste. And coming to the cells part, we have three different cells: red blood cells, white blood cells and platelets. And red blood cells are the guys which have a special pigment called hemoglobin, which has a great affinity or great attraction for oxygen gas. And that's the reason this hemoglobin is the one which is carrying oxygen gas to the various parts of the body. And later white blood cells, they just fight against infections. They are the major cells of our immune system. And coming to the platelets, which help in blood clotting process, which is a very, very essential and important property that a blood should have. Okay, so this is all about blood. And in my next video, let us discuss about the blood vessels. Right? I told you circulatory system contains blood, blood vessels, heart and lymph. So all the parts we have to discuss one by one.